A significant challenge for the Gators as linebacker Shemar James goes down with a knee injury, has surgery. He will miss the remainder of the season for the Gators. Let's get into it right here on Gators Breakdown.
Gators Breakdown, because there's never a dull moment in Gator Nation.
The Gators Breakdown podcast is ready to go. I am your host, David Waters. You can find me on social media at GatorDave_SEC, at Gators Breakdown. Coming at you with another update on the unfortunate news of Shamar James going down with an injury for the Gators. Dislocated kneecap, had surgery this week, will miss the remainder of the season after getting hurt pregame of the Georgia game. And a big blow for the Gators defense, big blow for the Gators team in general, but really hurts as this defense has been struggling for a bit. And now loses one of the best players. So we'll get into a little bit more. I know I threw it in the Arkansas preview as I was recording that. The news came out. So edited that episode to throw that news in, but we'll get to it even deeper here just for a little bit. We'll hear from Billy Napier, Shemar James as well, or Scooby Williams, and their thoughts on this big miss for the Gators. So, man, unfortunate, but Gators got to move forward, and we'll get into that too, how the Gators will adjust. Of course, this episode is brought to you by MyBookie. Use promo code Gators on a deposit of $50 or more. You can receive up to $200 in cash instantly to your MyBookie account. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. So, of course, Shamar James out, sophomore. A big part of this is, look, he leads the team in tackles right now. 54 tackles on the season. Now surgery done for the year. And now, of course, the pressing question is how the Gators will adapt to this. Look, guys, it's a very challenging situation right now for this Gator defense. So here's Billy Napier. Here's fellow linebacker Scooby Williams on losing James and how the Gators will adjust.
Oh, he's done. Yeah, he's done. He had surgery today, and he's out. So he'll be back for spring practice. This will be about a 4 months deal. Ultimately, it's just it's much like a shoulder dislocation. It's a kneecap dislocation. Happened to him in high school. It was an injury he had before. Much like a shoulder comes out, if it comes out again, you got to get it fixed. So it's not everything went well with the surgery. It won't be a major factor long term for him.
This season, and how tough is it for him to have to setback?
No, I think Shamar's been outstanding. I mean, he's our leading tackler. More than that, Shamar is he's a great example. His practice habits, his character. He's developed a voice. That's the thing that I think in particular as of late, he really was getting comfortable from a leadership standpoint of being vocal. So that's the unfortunate part. But, I think sometimes if you have the right perspective, injuries can, in the long term, you may not realize it when you're in the middle of it, but he's been outstanding. I mean, we knew he was a good player upon arrival, but he showed it this year.
Defense adjust to that, particularly, you could be facing Rocket Sanders, pretty good running back too, just in terms of, the challenges that arise with losing one of your better tacklers.
Yeah, no, I think it presents great opportunity for those other three guys, and they've all had good weeks. And certainly we'll lean on Scooby and Taraja to go along, that leadership communication component. And then those three guys, Wingo has some experience here, and certainly Manny's played a lot of football for us, and Jaden has showed a lot of promise. So, this is another week in college football, right? I mean, typically, very rarely do you run out there with all 22 starters. So that's a room that has depth. It's been very competitive in that room to see who would play. And if you think back, Shamar missed a pretty significant amount of time, so these guys were able to gain a ton of reps.
Greg Angel sent the challenge without Shamar, and I know he's a buddy of yours. How tough was it to see him go down, and how do you guys as defense compensate for him?
It's always tough seeing a guy you got ready for the season when the summer, put in the work, all the extra time. But that's what we got guys for, to fill in his role. Some big shoes to fill, but I know with our coaches, with our team, and just the whole plan that they're going to be ready to develop and fill his shoes.
What's that about Manny Nunnery in your mind over the last few months?
How athletic he is. He's like a freak of nature. Like, I don't know if you remember, but I think in spring I came and got interviewed, and I told you how he was athletic and made one-handed plays and all that. So I'm really excited for him to be able to display that in front of everybody Saturday.
Just in what he's able to do on the field.
Manny, one of those guys who can cover, drop back, rush the passer, just do what the defensive coordinator tell you to do. So I feel like he's a real valuable piece of defense.
How's Shamar handling the injury?
I feel like he's handled it well, but like I said, he spent all summer, all winter getting ready. So I know it can be challenging, but that's what we're here for as a team, as his friends, and as a family. Shamar was a vocal leader, but it's 11 people on the field. Everybody got to relay the call. Everybody got to communicate. So I feel like everybody do what they got to do and do their job, and we'll be just fine.
All right. Hopefully all that stuff comes to fruition there for the Gators. And let's go back a little bit. Shamar James, remember, he missed time in fall camp with an early injury scare that allowed these other linebackers to get a lot more reps in fall camp than they probably would have. So there is a plus there. But, it was a big-time injury scare early in fall camp. So, of course, James returned, has played in every game this season, has been a force until, he's had a shoulder injury. He's been playing through that as well. So, played through a shoulder injury, played through a dislocated kneecap in the Georgia game. That injury, the shoulder injury slowed him down a bit. It hasn't been the same, but was still, the Gators' best linebacker. So that's what the Gators have to overcome now. And the biggest worry, of course, is the leadership, the communication that comes along. He's played a lot of football, even though he's a sophomore. He's played a lot of football for these Gators. So you're going to miss those aspects. And, of course, the communication part of it, going against a new look Arkansas offense this weekend. And then the best offenses the Gators will see this season coming up with LSU, Missouri, and Florida State. So that's where you're going to miss Shamar James right now, and everything that he brings to the table as a leader, a vocal leader, a communicator, and the Gators got to overcome that. So, of course, it's next man up mentality. And while the Gators have the bodies, not many have proven much this season besides Scooby Williams. And look, he's been dealing with an injury as well. I believe it's a shoulder or two. Derek Wingo has been dealing with an injury at as well. So, and remember, go back to the bye week. I said it was important for the linebackers because they have been so beat up, and then we'll now get this news of Shamar James there. So nobody's proven much besides Scooby Williams. Some of that is due to, of course, wanting Shamar on the field and letting him be the leader, letting him, you don't want to take your best player on defense off the field. But we've seen enough to know not other linebackers have really stepped it up for the Gators so far. So go to the depth chart Wednesday night, and next man up, according to the depth chart, may be Houston transfer Manny Nunnery. You heard Scooby Williams talk about him. He's seen action in all 8 games, mostly on special teams. Season high 4 tackles in the win over Vanderbilt. And his athleticism, of course, has been talked about since he came along as a transfer for the Gators. I'd still worry if him and Scooby are out there together. It's a little undersized at the linebacker spot. So, these offenses maybe will key in on that. Most notably, probably Arkansas this week with their offensive line has struggled a lot this year. So I don't know if they can really flip the switch, but given Sam Pittman and his mauling offensive line mentality, if they get the running back, if KJ Jefferson's going to run some more, big worry there of their big bodies on the offensive line, and they're tough to bring down skill players if, Florida's going to be undersized at linebacker. So they'll have to use the speed to their advantage for the rest of this season. And, of course, like I said, Derek Wingo, despite playing through an injury, he's already he's shown some dedication this year in playing through an injury, but still, we've seen enough where there's just been really no impact from Derek Wingo at the linebacker spot right now. 93 snaps this year so far. Now we go to senior Taraja Mitchell. He's got to step it up. He's not really played all that well when he's been has his opportunities this year. 14 total tackles this year. Seen times in all games this season. He had 3 in the win over South Carolina, but no tackles for loss, no sacks for him. You go back to his Ohio State days. He did have a career high for the Buckeyes with 11 tackles versus Oregon in 2021. Going to need some performances like that coming up from Taraja Mitchell. But then Florida could go to youth route. And, of course, Jaden Robinson, the true freshman, they think really highly of this kid. I know he's an underrated recruit out of Lake City. He may get his opportunity. Maybe trying to save some red shirt at some point this season, but maybe not now. There with Jaden Robinson, 33 snaps over 3 games. I would assume, if he's going to show something, you'll burn the red shirt and try to make up for this loss of Shamar James as you try to get bowl eligible this week, as you face some really tough offenses coming up. So underrated as a recruit, but regarded as a future starter at linebacker. So that's where we're at right now. Unfortunately, Shamar James goes down. There's how the Gators will adjust. That's who they can adjust with. And look, you don't get better by losing Shamar James, but hopefully there's an adjustment there that the Gators can overcome. This end of the season was already going to be tough with the teams you play. But you heard from Napier, heard from Scooby on how the Gators will adjust. We got some names. Now the guys have to go out there and play. So for a defense that's been struggling recently, losing one of the best players is not ideal. All right, that'll do it for this short update right here on the Shamar James injury. Hearing from Billy Napier, hearing from Scooby Williams. I am the host of Gators Breakdown, David Waters. You can find me on social media at GatorDave_SEC, at Gators Breakdown. Guys and girls out there, thank you for joining me on this episode of Gators Breakdown.